many months, small businesses have suffered due to the pandemic, and some have transitioned, some have not, some have come up with new business plans, and some have just gone out of business, and it's a sad time. But today we are here with Sherri from Sova Design and Millinery. We are here to talk number one, hats, because how lovely is this one? We're also here to talk about your business. How long have you been in business, Sherri?
Officially, it's been about 20 years. I've been doing hats. I've had a storefront for about 5 up in Saskatoon.
Yeah, and it's nice that, and I think that's part of the transition is we are set up in Regina right now. This is filmed a few weeks ago, but you were set up here because you got to get out there. You're not being able to do the trade shows and all that was sort of shut down.
Yeah, this is a real tough time for artisans especially. Our Christmas shows are canceled. If they are online, they're not getting the same response as, touching and feeling. And so, you know what, I kind of got frustrated and I said, I'm going down to Regina and setting up for a weekend and see if my clients follow.
Okay, so before we get into your survival story, because I do want to talk about that, in my mind, I don't know anyone else that is a milliner. Are there others?
There are other milliners. There's more, of course, overseas, the UK, Australia, Europe. Yes, there are milliners. Not so much here in Canada. I have had specialized training overseas, that sort of thing, but I am one of a handful in this country. Yeah,
I'm loving it, and I love my hat. So now your survival story. March 2020 hits. What was some of the first things you did to, change the business plan?
Well, you know what? First off, I turned to Facebook and Instagram and put it out there that yes, my store is closed, but I am still making hats. That is not going to change until I take my last breath. So I posted and that sort of thing, and by the time it came back to June, July, when I could open my doors, I was having clients come in, relieved that I'm still around.
Yeah, and have you added or changed anything?
Well, you know what, I am transitioning a little bit more to online, but with hats it's a difficult thing because people like to feel and try them on, and I have to be creative in how I get them out there for sure. But I have gone back to doing more clothing that I used to do as well, just to,
And I do agree. I don't know if you can see this hat, but to feel it is, I don't even know what felt.
It's felt, but what I use is a rabbit felt as opposed to wool, which is what you usually find downtown. Like a truly nice hat is made out of rabbit felt.
Oh, it's beautiful. And just to be here to wear it and try it on, I get the experience is way different than online buying something. So not only the clothes, which you've now sort of added to the list of things you do, you've got a couple other things in front of you that, it's what you have to do to sort of the little sales or something, I'm thinking.
Absolutely. So I started I went back to doing my clothing, which is a French linen and a very sort of southern France sort of feel, flowy. And with all the linen, I decided to do more casual linen hats. I've done the linen masks. Of course, everybody is doing masks right now, and these look really nice with my clothing. And also, it's the 3rd year in a row that I'm doing my Men of Sova calendar as a kind of a little extra fundraiser for me, just anything to bring customers in.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the small sale that gets them in the door, right? Gets them looking at you if it's a mask or a smaller hat, and then they go, oh my gosh, I love that hat.
Absolutely.
Now, have you always had men's hats?
Like men's hats actually came a little bit later after the women's. It took me years to build up, but now in Saskatoon in my studio, I have this, 1-ton machine that, presses out the men's hats. So I've added those into my repertoire, and now it's about 50-50. Like, there are a lot of men wearing the hats, of course, a lot of women wearing the hats, and, it's just expanded that way. It's been a little tough this year, but I still have a good client base that are there to support me.
Yeah. And when people come in looking for a hat, I just grabbed this one, I put it on, but it seems so, it's hard to choose. Number one, what you look good in. And
I have this thing that I do that usually the first hat I put on you is the one you're going to end up walking out with. I don't know if it's just an instinct or what, but and I put it on. They're like, wow, that's kind of nice. Then they'll try on every other hat in the store before realizing I was right in the first place. And yeah.
How did you come out? Like, how do you have this ability? Are you from a long line of milliners?
Actually, very recently, I found out long lost grandfather we've been searching for about 70 years. Actually, my dad's never met his father. Just before COVID hit, we finally found our family in France, and it turns out that my grandfather made hats in a hat factory before the war.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And is anyone in between making hats but you?
Just me. And it's funny because he passed away in October 2020. Which was the same month that I just picked up and started making hats. It's the craziest thing. I didn't have any training or anything. I just started making hats. And then I started doing master classes and that sort of thing, but it's always just been a real instinct for me to do.
Wow. I love the passion when I listen to you, and I know that whatever life throws at you, you're going to turn it into lemonade. Like you are, that is you.
Yeah, if my store has to close, it's only going to be a temporary thing. This is something that I was meant to do, and I'm going to do it forever and ever. And I have a million ideas to match, so it'll be a lifetime of hats for me.
So anyone watching and is maybe a business owner, I mean, I'm a small business owner, advice to anyone watching about what's going on right now?
Oh, you know what? I'm doing a lot of praying. I'm making a lot of hats. When I don't know what to do, head down and I just keep making. And if I see someone else that needs help, I find that if you help others, it comes back to you. So for instance, my chiropractor, who's actually one of my models, he put out a book. And so I'm carrying it at my store now, hoping to, sell it for him. And we help out each other that way. And I think, that's the only way to do it. When you're a small business, you just have to help one another.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Sherri, for spending the time with us. And now you're in Regina right now. And are you going to keep sort of this open for anyone? Or?
Yeah, I have a friend who's, again, he's a model for me and an old friend. And he has this business here in Regina. And he's going to keep a showroom for me here of my hats so that, my Regina clients can come and they don't always have to travel up to Saskatoon. They could, pick up something here.
Yeah, and give us the address for all our viewers.
Okay, it's 315 Dudney. It's right in the industrial area. You'll probably drive down the street and miss it because it's back from the street. Oh. But it is here, and my hats will be here. And Vince, who has the building, he's a good guy. He knows his hats, and he can get one on you.
All right. Well, I thank you for just sharing your hats, bringing them down here, and congratulations on the pivot, the transition, whatever it is, and your passion will keep you going.
I hope so. I'm going to keep going, no matter what. Thank you.
Well, now I'm going to go back and try on the first hat that Sherri put on my head. We'll see you guys.